Snow fell thick enough to bury the last footprints of the elite unit, just erased from existence. Through wind that howled like mourning, a woman in white camouflage emerged from the ruins, her sniper rifle still warm. No retreat order, no support. Only her and memories of teammates who died in silence. As enemy helicopters circled the gray sky, she whispered through freezing breath, "I'll make them pay for this." The hunt in the snow had officially begun. The armored vehicle burned without flame, just smoke curling black against white infinity. Captain Elena Ross counted 6 bodies before she stopped counting. The radio had gone silent 3 hours ago. The last transmission, a scream cut short. She moved through wreckage with practiced economy. Her rifle, a custom M2010, rested across her back, scope cap still on. The enemy would be watching for movement, thermal signatures, anything that breathed. The battlefield stretched in all directions. Their convoy had been ambushed in a valley with no cover, no escape. Someone had known their route. Someone had sold them. Elena found Lieutenant Marcus Chen face down in a drift. She'd trained with him for 2 years. She didn't close his eyes, they were already frozen open. "They died because they trusted me," she said to the wind. She'd been the one who confirmed the route. The mission brief had been clean, too clean. Elena climbed onto the burned vehicle, scanning the ridgeline north. The attack had come from their concealed positions, overlapping fire, perfect timing, professional work. The snow had stopped, visibility improving, helicopters approaching. She could hear distant rotors. They were looking for survivors to finish off. She moved toward the tree line. Each step calculated. Leave tracks going east, make them think she ran, then double back through the stream bed. The trees swallowed her. White uniform, white rifle wrap, white face paint. Ghost, that's what they'd called her since Kosovo, because people died around her and she kept walking. Elena found a position on the ridge. High ground. Wind from the west. Temperature dropping. She unwrapped her rifle, checked the scope, chambered around. Below, the helicopters landed. 8 soldiers disembarked. They moved well, disciplined. One was filming, another was checking bodies, confirming kills. Elena's crosshairs found the commander. Clean shot, easy shot, but she didn't take it. Not yet. They needed to feel safe first. She watched them for 20 minutes. Watched them laugh. Watched them pose with the burning vehicle. Watched them deface the bodies of her friends. The commander spoke into his radio, then gestured to his men. Time to leave. Elena breathed out slowly, found the rhythm between heartbeats. "I'll make them pay for this," she whispered. The first shot dropped the commander. The second hit the soldier with the camera. By the third shot, they were screaming. By the fourth, they understood they were prey. 12 hours earlier, the briefing room smelled like bad coffee and confidence. Operation Winterfall, Major David Brennan said, clicking through satellite images. Simple extraction. Asset is compromised. He tapped a valley on the map. We go in, we get him out. Elena studied the terrain. Single road in, single road out. Mountains on 3 sides. It's a kill box. It's the only route. Intel confirms no enemy activity. Intel confirmed, Elena repeated. The phrase tasted wrong. The team was small. Brennan picked Specialist Sergeant Rachel Park on communications, Lieutenant Chen on tactical, Corporal James Morrison on demolitions, Private Hayes on medical, and Elena, because when things went wrong, someone needed to shoot their way out. They left at 0400. 4 vehicles, weapons hot. The valley looked peaceful under moonlight. The first explosion hit at 0620. Morrison's truck flipped, burned. Rachel called for backup before the second mortar destroyed her radio. Chen tried to establish a perimeter. Hayes ran to help Morrison. None of them saw the machine gun nests until too late. Elena rolled out before the RPG hit, dragged the driver Specialist Nina Torres into a crater. Torres looked at her with shock. They fucking knew we were coming. Then Torres stopped breathing. Elena low-crawled to Brennan's position, found him bleeding from his chest. He grabbed her collar. Get out. Someone sold us. Who's the asset? Brennan coughed blood. Ghost protocol. You don't need to know. Just go. That's an order. She watched him die. Then found Chen silent. Park was gone, direct hit. Hayes was missing half his head. Morrison was ash. The firing stopped at 0645. The enemy withdrew, leaving the valley quiet except for flames and wind. Elena tried the radio. Static. Satellite phone. Jammed. Emergency beacon. Disabled. Someone had wanted this unit erased. No survivors. No witnesses. Elena searched the vehicles, found Brennan's classified folder. Inside, a single photograph, a man she didn't recognize. On the back, Blackwood, active betrayal, extreme prejudice. Blackwood, arms dealer, information broker. If Blackwood was the asset, this mission was never about extraction. It was about elimination, and someone had eliminated the eliminators. Elena burned the photograph, buried what she could of her team under snow. The enemy would come back to confirm kills. But she wasn't leaving. She climbed to the ridge, set up her position, loaded her rifle. When the helicopters arrived, she was ready. 7 targets remained after her initial shots. They scattered. Elena started hunting. The instructors at sniper school called her the machine, not because she was fast, because she never missed. 217 qualification shots, 217 hits. You don't feel it, Gunnery Sergeant William Price said after her final evaluation. The kill. I feel it. I just don't let it change the shot. Price signed her papers. You're too cold for this work, Ross. She graduated first, deployed to Kosovo at 23. First mission, first kill a sniper 300 meters out. She took him through his scope, felt nothing but recoil. The nickname came later. Syria. Urban warfare. Her spotter was hit during insertion. Elena went solo. 72 hours alone, taking shots when opportunities appeared. 12 confirmed kills. When extraction came, command thought she was dead. Ghost, her spotter said from his hospital bed. You're a fucking ghost. Her superiors loved her. Her teammates feared her, not because she was dangerous, because she survived when others didn't. You make it look easy, Chen said once. Killing is easy. Living with it is hard. You seem to manage. Do I? Elena's father, Army Ranger, died when she was 10. Her mother remarried, moved to Seattle. Elena stayed with her grandmother in Montana, learned to shoot young, learned silence younger. The rifle was honest. Squeeze trigger, bullet flies, target falls. No betrayal, no lies. When she enlisted at 18, her grandmother said, "You're running toward death." No, I'm staying ahead of it. But Kosovo taught her something. Syria reinforced it. Afghanistan proved it. You can't stay ahead of death. You can only choose whose death you carry. She carried them all. 347 confirmed kills. 19 teammates lost. The numbers didn't balance. Survival isn't luck, she told a reporter once. It's choice. Every second, you choose to live. And you? I decided, a long time ago. The interview was never published. She sounded too cold, too detached. Heroes died. Ghosts endured. But standing in the snow, watching her unit burn, Elena understood. She'd chosen to survive, chosen not to feel, chosen to be the machine. That choice had killed everyone around her. They'd trusted the ghost, now they were dead. For the first time in her career, Elena Ross felt something sharper than recoil. Rage. The enemy soldiers died quickly, too quickly. Elena had wanted them to suffer. She'd hit 6 of the 7 before they reached their helicopters. The last one, young, panicked, tried to fly anyway. Elena put a round through the cockpit glass. The helicopter spun, crashed, burned. Silence returned. Wind, smoke. The valley held its dead. Elena descended from the ridge, rifle ready. The bodies were where they'd fallen. She checked each one. Enemy uniforms, unmarked, no insignia, no identification, professional erasers. One was still breathing. She'd hit him through the shoulder, deliberately low. He was conscious, staring at her with wide eyes. Blackwood, Elena said, not a question. The soldier said nothing. Elena knelt, removed his glove, placed his hand in the snow. Talk or freeze, your choice. They'll kill me, he gasped. I'll kill you first. Faster. He looked at her face paint, her eyes, the blood on her rifle. Understood. Blackwood soldier mission. Got paid both sides. Your people wanted him dead. His people wanted you dead. He brokered the deal. Where is he? I don't. Elena pressed his hand deeper into the snow. He screamed. "North," he gasped. "Compound. 15 kilometers. Past the checkpoint. There's a bunker. He runs everything from there." "How many?" 20. Maybe 30. "Defenses?" "Please." Elena stood. Put a round through his head. He'd said enough. She walked back to her team. The snow was falling again. Heavy now. Covering everything. She found Chen first. Used her knife to cut his dog tags. Took them. Morrison next. Park. Hayes. Torres. Brennan. 7 tags on her chain. 7 ghosts to carry. She should have called for extraction. Should have used the emergency protocol. Should have let command handle it. Instead, she gathered weapons. Found ammunition. Took night vision. Thermal scope. First aid supplies. The enemy had left equipment behind in their panic. She claimed it all. By the time she finished, the sun was setting. Temperature dropping. The storm was coming in hard. Elena knelt in the snow between the buried bodies. She'd done what she could. Shallow graves. Not enough. But the frozen ground didn't allow more. "I'm not going back," she said to them. To the wind. To herself. Not until this is finished. Not until everyone who planned this is dead. Not until Blackwood knows what he bought. The wind howled. The dead didn't answer. Elena pressed her forehead to the snow. Felt the cold seep in. Let herself feel it. The loss. The rage. The absolute certainty of what came next. "I'll make them pay for this," she whispered. "Every single one. I'll be the ghost they fear. I'll be the bullet they never see. I'll be the last thing they remember." She stood, checked her rifle, oriented north. 15 kilometers, through enemy territory, through a blizzard, alone. The old Elena, the machine, would have calculated odds, would have recognized this as suicide, would have chosen survival. But the machine had died with her team. What walked north into the storm was something colder, something purpose-built from rage and snow and blood. The ghost had been a nickname, a reputation, a legend. Now it was a promise. Elena moved into the darkness. The snow covered her tracks. The wind carried her away. Behind her, the burning vehicles cast orange light against white infinity. Ahead, somewhere in the storm, men who'd killed her friends were warm and safe and laughing. Not for long. The first checkpoint appeared at kilometer 7. Elena saw the lights from 300 meters, a portable structure, 2 guards, single vehicle, too easy, too obvious. She circled west, found the real position. 4 men in a bunker, night vision, thermal imaging. Smart, but not smart enough. Wind was 11 knots, gusting to 15. Temperature, -20. Her breath froze instantly. Her rifle was cold enough to burn skin. She wrapped her scarf tighter, settled into the snow, became part of the landscape. The first guard died at 2,147 hours. Clean shot through the thermal scope. He dropped without sound. The second guard noticed 30 seconds later. Started talking into his radio. Elena's bullet caught him mid-word. The bunker erupted. 2 men burst out, weapons ready, scanning. Elena waited. Let them expose themselves. Let them think they were hunting. 3rd shot, 4th shot, both dropped. She moved immediately. Lessons from Syria never stay after the kill. She circled north, put 500 meters between her and the checkpoint, waited. 10 minutes. Radio chatter would have alerted the compound. They'd send reinforcements. She'd be ready. The vehicle arrived at 2,203. 6 soldiers, alert, weapons out. They found the bodies, started shouting. One called on the radio reporting ghost activity, requesting backup. Elena smiled. Let them be afraid. She took the radio operator first, then the driver. The remaining 4 scattered, trying to find cover in terrain that offered none. She methodically eliminated 3. Let the last one run. Let him carry the story back. Let him tell them about the ghost in the snow who killed without warning, without sound, without mercy. Psychological warfare. Terror was a weapon. She'd learned that in Afghanistan. Fear degraded decision-making, made targets predictable, made them easier to kill. Elena moved closer to the compound, found a ridge overlooking the valley. 2 buildings, 1 bunker, watchtowers at each corner, lights blazing, at least 20 soldiers visible, more inside. She counted windows, noted guard rotations, mapped patrol patterns. Blackwood was in the bunker. That's where someone valuable would hide. Underground, protected. She'd need to draw them out. At 2,330, she took the northwest tower guard. Single shot. He tumbled. Alarms screamed. Lights flooded the compound. Soldiers poured out, taking positions. Elena had already moved. She was southeast now. Different angle, different elevation. She waited for them to settle, waited for them to think they'd secured the perimeter. At 2,347, she took the communications officer on the roof. He'd been scanning with binoculars. He fell backward, disappeared. More shouting, more confusion. They were firing blind now, wasting ammunition on shadows. Elena shifted again, found a position north, waited. At 0015, a commander emerged, rallying his men, trying to restore order. She let him talk, let him make them feel safe. Then she killed him. The compound descended into chaos. Soldiers fired at nothing, at each other, at ghosts. She watched through her scope, counting muzzle flashes, mapping positions. 17 visible, at least 10 more inside. The bunker door stayed closed. Good. Let Blackwood hide. Let him feel the walls close in. Let him understand that walls meant nothing against someone who'd already lost everything. Elena had all night. She had all week. She had the rest of her life. She would peel this compound apart. One shot at a time. One death at a time. Until there was nowhere left to hide. The temperature dropped. The wind increased. The storm was building. Perfect conditions. Elena chambered another round. Found her next target. Breathed out slowly. "This is for Chen," she whispered. Then fired. "This is for Park." Fired. "This is for Morrison." Fired. The count had begun. Inside the bunker, Colonel Victor Strand listened to the radio reports with growing dread. 8 confirmed dead. 4 missing. "She's everywhere, sir." "One sniper cannot be everywhere," Victor said, but his voice lacked conviction. "It's the ghost, sir. The American. From the valley." Victor had heard the nickname. Everyone in intelligence had heard it. Elena Ross, the woman who walked through bullets, the sniper who'd killed an entire cell in 48 hours. Solo. He'd thought she was dead. The valley ambush should have killed her. "How many operational?" Victor demanded. 14 combat ready, 6 wounded, 3 in shock. 23 men reduced to 14 in 3 hours. Unacceptable. Victor moved to the monitors. Thermal imaging showed the compound perimeter. Nothing. She was too cold, too patient, too professional. "Where's Blackwood?" he asked. "Lower level, secure room. He's demanding extraction. Tell him we're dealing with the situation. He says if you don't get him out, he'll make one call and every intelligence agency will know about this facility." Victor closed his eyes. Blackwood. The man who sold secrets like groceries. The man they'd been paid to protect while he brokered his deal with the Americans. The man who'd orchestrated the Valley ambush. And now, the ghost had come for payment. "Send 2 teams, Victor ordered. "Full gear, thermal, night vision, sweep north to south, box her in." "Sir, she'll pick them off." "Do it." The teams deployed at 0130. 8 men total. Victor watched through the command camera. They moved well, professional, covered angles, used terrain. The first man died at 0134. Headshot. The second at 0136. Chest shot. The teams scattered, trying to locate the shooter. Thermal showed nothing. Night vision showed nothing. Third man at 0139. Fourth at 0142. The remaining 4 retreated, firing blindly, wasting ammunition. 2 made it back, 2 didn't. Victor stared at the monitors. Impossible. One person couldn't do this, couldn't be this precise, this patient, this lethal. But the bodies didn't lie. "Sir," his lieutenant said quietly, "the men are asking. They want to surrender." "To who?" Victor snapped. "She's not taking prisoners." "Then they want to retreat. Leave the compound, let Blackwood deal with." Victor grabbed the man's collar. "We have orders. We have contracts. We leave. We're dead anyway. You understand? Blackwood's people will kill us. The Americans will kill us. The ghost will kill us. Our only chance is to kill her first." How? The lieutenant asked. She's invisible. Then we make her visible. Victor released him, turned to the monitors. Get Blackwood up here. 5 minutes later, Blackwood emerged from the lower level. Small man, beard, expensive coat, eyes that calculated profit in everything. He looked at Victor with contempt. You're losing, Blackwood said. You hired us to protect you. We're protecting you. By dying? Blackwood laughed. I hired professionals. Your children playing soldier. Victor stepped close. She's here because of you. You sold her team. You killed them. Now she's killing us. So you're going to help me stop her. Victor smiled coldly. You're going to be bait. Blackwood's face went pale. I'll pay double. No. Victor grabbed his arm. You'll walk outside. She'll take the shot. My men will triangulate the position. Then, we'll end this. You're insane. We're dead anyway. Victor dragged him toward the door. At least this way, we take her with us. Elena felt the bullet before she heard the shot. It punched through her left shoulder, spun her, dropped her into the snow. She'd gotten careless, focused too long on the compound, forgot to check her 6, amateur mistake. Except she wasn't dead. Elena rolled right, came up with her pistol, saw the shooter 50 meters, prone position, good concealment. He'd flanked her while she watched the compound. Smart. She fired twice, hit him once. He went down screaming. Her shoulder burned. Blood soaked into her thermal layer, freezing instantly. She pressed snow against it, checked the wound. Through and through. Clean. Lucky. Lucky. Chen had believed in luck. You're lucky, Ghost, he'd say after missions. Luckiest person I know. Luck is skill multiplied by paranoia, she'd reply. Skill doesn't stop bullets. But it had, mostly, until tonight. Elena applied field dressing, biting through the pain. Her left arm was compromised. Couldn't hold the rifle properly. Couldn't maintain stable position. Compromise made you vulnerable. Vulnerability made you dead. She thought about Chen, about the last time they'd talked, day before the mission. He'd been excited. After this, I'm requesting reassignment, instructor position, maybe settle down. I don't know, Elena had said. You should try it. Life outside the scope. What would I do? Chen had smiled. Something boring, something safe. He died 30 seconds into the ambush. Nothing boring, nothing safe. Elena thought about Park, Morrison, Hayes, Torres, Brennan, about the 19 others she'd lost over the years, about the ones whose names she'd forgotten, about the ones whose faces she still saw. The cold helped, made everything numb, made thinking harder, made feeling impossible. She'd chosen this, chosen the rifle, chosen the distance, chosen to survive when others didn't. You're not responsible, the military therapist had said once. Survivor's guilt is natural. I'm not guilty, Elena had replied. I'm practical. Is that what you tell yourself? That's what I know. But knowing and feeling were different. The therapist had been right. Knowledge sat in the brain. Feeling lived deeper, in muscle memory, in dreams, in the way her hands shook sometimes after missions. She'd stopped going to therapy, stopped talking about feelings, stopped pretending she was anything other than what she'd become. A ghost. Something that drifted through the world without touching it, without being touched. Except tonight. Tonight the world had reached out and grabbed her, put a bullet through her, reminded her she was flesh, not smoke. Elena stood, tested her arm, limited range, manageable. She retrieved her rifle, checked the scope, still functional, still deadly. The compound was quiet. They were planning something, probably realized she was wounded, probably organizing a sweep. She needed to move, find new position, reset the advantage. But first, she needed to send a message. Elena found the soldier who'd shot her. He was still alive, barely. She knelt beside him, let him see her face. You hit me, she said. First person in 3 years. He tried to speak. Blood bubbled from his lips. I'm going to kill everyone in that compound, Elena continued. Everyone. And when they find the bodies, they'll know. They'll know the ghost doesn't stop, doesn't quit, doesn't forgive. She stood. Put a bullet through his head. Then she disappeared into the snow, leaving only blood and questions behind. Dawn came cold and gray. Elena had circled east, found high ground 800 meters from the compound. Her shoulder throbbed. She'd taken painkillers from her kit. They dulled the edge, but couldn't eliminate it. Through her scope, she watched the compound wake. Guards changed. Doors opened. Someone was moving vehicles. Then she saw him. Blackwood, being dragged outside by two soldiers. They positioned him in the open, visible, exposed. Bait, obvious bait. They wanted her to take the shot, wanted to trace the trajectory, wanted to finally find her. Elena smiled. Finally, something interesting. She studied the setup. Blackwood stood in the compound center, 6 soldiers positioned around him in concealment, 3 on rooftops with counter-sniper equipment, 2 vehicles running, ready for rapid deployment. Another 6 soldiers spread in the perimeter, watching likely shooting positions. Professional setup. Victor, she'd heard his name on the radio, knew what he was doing. But he'd made a mistake. He'd assumed Elena cared about Blackwood. Assumed she needed him dead immediately. Assumed she'd take the obvious shot. She didn't. She waited. Wind was steady, 8 knots from the west. Temperature rising -15. Snow had stopped. Visibility perfect. Elena's shoulder screamed. She adjusted her position, found a stable base using her right arm primarily. Left arm supported but didn't carry weight. Unconventional. Difficult. Possible. She ranged the targets. 820 meters. Extreme for most snipers. Standard for her. The M2010 could reach further, but accuracy degraded. At this range, with wind, with injury, she had maybe one good shot before they located her. She needed it to count. Blackwood was shouting, begging. Elena couldn't hear the words, but she read his body language. He was terrified. Good. But killing Blackwood didn't end anything. He was a symptom. Victor and his soldiers were the disease. They'd taken money to murder her team. They'd laughed over the bodies. They'd created this situation. Elena shifted her scope. Found Victor. He was on the bunker roof, binoculars raised, scanning. Confident, protected by his men. The shot was impossible. 820 meters. Wind deflection would be significant. Her injury made stability questionable. Even if she hit, the counter-snipers would locate her within seconds. Impossible odds. Elena had built a career on impossible odds. She calculated trajectory, accounted for wind, adjusted for temperature, humidity, elevation. The math was complex. The execution would be instinct. She breathed, slow, controlled, between heartbeats, between thoughts, between Elena Ross and the ghost she'd become. Chen had asked her once, "How do you make the shots no one else can make?" "I don't think about missing," she'd replied. "That's not an answer." Yes, it is. Missing is a choice. Hit is a choice. I choose to hit. What if you can't? Then I chose wrong. But I don't choose wrong. Chen had shaken his head. You're insane. No, I'm committed. There's a difference. Elena found that commitment now. Found the space between possible and certain. Found the absolute conviction that this bullet would fly true. She squeezed the trigger. The rifle kicked. Her shoulder exploded with pain. She watched through the scope, tracking the bullet's arc across 820 meters of cold mountain air. Victor's head snapped back. He dropped. The compound erupted. Soldiers scattered. Counter-snipers fired at nothing. Vehicles roared toward her position. Elena was already gone. She'd planned her exit before taking the shot, sliding backward down the ridge, into dead ground, into the trees. Behind her, chaos. Ahead of her, survival. The shoulder wound had reopened. Blood trail in the snow. She'd need to address it, but not yet. First, distance, then safety. Then she'd worry about bleeding out. Victor was dead. Blackwood was exposed. The compound was broken. 23 soldiers remained. She'd killed 11. Acceptable progress. Elena found a cave 3 kilometers north. Small, hidden, defensible. She collapsed inside, finally letting the pain wash through her. The shoulder was bad. Worse than she'd thought. The second wound from the shot that killed Victor had torn the first wound wider. She could see bone. torn muscle, could feel something grinding when she moved. She cleaned it, cauterized it, screamed into her scarf so no one would hear, then bandaged it properly. Field medicine. She'd done worse to herself before. The painkillers were gone. The adrenaline was fading. What remained was exhaustion, pain, and the absolute certainty that staying awake meant staying alive. She stayed awake. Through her night vision, she watched the compound. They'd locked down. No patrols, no searches, just lights and silence. They were waiting for reinforcements, or waiting for her to die, or waiting for someone to make a decision. Elena checked her ammunition. 47 rounds for the M2010, 8 magazines for her pistol, 3 grenades, 1 knife, 1 wounded shoulder, 1 purpose. The radio she'd taken it from a dead soldier crackled periodically. Russian. She understood enough. Colonel Strand is dead. Yes, confirmed. The American. Yes, the ghost. She's wounded. Blood trail. No, we lost it. Reinforcements? When? 2 days? Understood. 2 days. They'd hold the compound for 2 days. Then backup would arrive. Then they'd hunt her properly. Elena smiled. 2 days was plenty. She slept in 30-minute intervals. Woke, scanned, slept. Each time she woke, the pain was worse. Each time, she pushed through it. By evening, the compound had relaxed slightly. Guards on rotation. Blackwood was back inside. No more bait. Someone competent had taken command. Someone who understood defense. Good. She appreciated competence. Made the kills more meaningful. At midnight, Elena moved. She was slower, weaker. Her left arm hung, mostly useless, but she could still shoot, still think, still kill. She approached from the south, found a position 200 meters out, close, dangerous, perfect. The first guard died at 0017, the second at 0019. By 0025, the compound was in full alert. But they'd learned. They stayed inside, stayed protected. Elena waited. Patience was weapon, fear was weapon, time was weapon. At 0200, someone broke. Young soldier, nerves shattered, ran for the vehicles. Elena watched him go. Let him leave. Let him carry the story. At 0300, another ran. Then another. By dawn, only 8 remained inside. 8 and Blackwood. The radio crackled, requesting immediate extraction. Compound compromised. Colonel Strand dead. Unit combat ineffective. Elena switched it off. She was done listening. She approached the bunker entrance, placed charges, primitive, effective. Then she walked away, found high ground, waited. At 0900, the explosion tore through the bunker. Smoke, fire, screaming. 3 men emerged, burning. She shot them. Mercy kills. Silence. Elena waited. No more movement. No more sounds. The compound was dead. Except Blackwood. He'd be in the secure room, underground, protected. She entered the bunker through smoke and flame, found the secure room, steel door, locked. Blackwood, she called. It's over. Silence. I killed everyone. Your protection is dead. Your compound is destroyed. You can stay in there and starve, or you can come out and face me. More silence. Your choice, Elena said. Then she walked away. She had time. She had patience. She had already won. The extraction team arrived at 1,400 hours. 2 helicopters, 20 soldiers, American uniforms. They found the compound destroyed. Bodies everywhere. Blood and snow and silence. Captain James Mitchell led the team. He moved through the wreckage, counting 32 enemy dead, professional kills, single shots, some burned, some shot, some crushed by explosives. Sir, one of his men called, found something. They'd found Blackwood. He was in the secure room, door still locked. He'd suffocated when the air system failed, died slowly, badly. Jesus, Mitchell whispered. They searched for survivors, found none. Searched for the American team, found the valley, found the shallow graves, found the dog tags arranged in a line. Major Brennan, Lieutenant Chen, Sergeant Park, Corporal Morrison, PFC Hayes, Specialist Torres, Captain Ross. 7 tags, but only 6 graves. "Where's Ross?" Mitchell demanded. They searched, found blood trails, found spent casings, found evidence of a wounded person moving north. But no body, no sign. "She did all this?" one soldier asked, staring at the compound. Mitchell studied the scene, the tactical precision, the psychological warfare, the absolute commitment to revenge. "Ghost protocol," he said quietly. "What's that mean?" "Means she's not coming back." They searched for 3 days. Helicopters, ground teams, thermal imaging, drones, found nothing. Elena Ross had disappeared into the mountains, into the snow, into legend. At command, they argued. "She's wounded. She can't survive out there. She survived the valley. She killed 32 trained soldiers. She'll survive. Should we keep looking?" "No. Ghost protocol means she's gone." They closed the file, listed her as MIA, presumed dead, gave her a medal, gave her a funeral, empty casket. Her grandmother attended, 87 years old, stood at the grave, didn't cry. "She's not dead," the grandmother said to the chaplain. "How do you know?" "Because Elena doesn't give up. She doesn't stop. She's out there somewhere, and God help whoever finds her." The chaplain said nothing. In a hospital in Berlin, 3 weeks later, a woman checked in under a false name. Shoulder wound, infected, near, fatal. The doctors saved her, never asked questions. She paid cash, disappeared after discharge. In Prague, someone matching Elena's description sold classified intelligence to 3 different agencies. Information about Blackwood's network, names, accounts, locations. The intelligence community erupted. Arrests, trials, executions. Blackwood's empire collapsed. In Montana, Elena's grandmother received a package. No return address. Inside, 7 dog tags and a single note. "They didn't die alone. Neither will their killers. I'm still hunting." The grandmother burned the note, kept the tags, waited. Years passed. The ghost became legend. Stories circulated. A sniper in Syria, an operative in Moscow, a shadow in Hong Kong, always alone, always lethal, always gone before anyone could confirm. Was it her? Was she alive? No one knew. No one could prove it. But sometimes, in winter, in mountains, in places where blood-stained snow, soldiers would report seeing a woman in white, patient, professional, deadly. They called her the Ghost, and they were afraid. Because ghosts don't die. They haunt.